Sì, volevo sapere se l'idea di una trilogia è arrivata con il tempo oppure fin dall'inizio il progetto è nato come un insieme di 3 film.
Well, Chris Sanders and we were tasked to write and direct a new version of How to Train Your Dragon, the original film, with very little time remaining. So we had just over a year and a half to rewrite it from scratch and then use existing art and the tools that were available to us to just make a film that worked. We weren't thinking about anything beyond that until the film went out into the theaters. It was a success, and then I was asked to come up with ideas for a sequel. And as somebody who doesn't really love sequels in general, unless they have a true purpose, I said, why don't we make this a trilogy? Three acts of one story. They all have narrative purpose together, and they could stand alone as separate films as well. And luckily they agreed to that. So it wasn't until after the first movie that the idea of a trilogy was pitched and we embarked on that.
I personaggi del film sono cresciuti e adesso si trovano di fronte a situazioni più adulte di prima. Il target del film è cambiato, praticamente DragonTrainer si rivolge agli stessi spettatori di allora che sono cresciuti oppure vuole rivolgersi a un nuovo pubblico?
I mean, to me, it feels like as we've been starting to roll out clips and go to places like New York Comic Con and show, Toronto Film Festival, show a little bit, the constant refrain is there are fans that have grown up with the franchise. So there's 19, 20, 22-year-olds that all saw the movie when they were 10, and they've been sort of connected to it all the way along. So they've bought in, and they can't wait to see 3. But there's also, like any great animated movie, there's a new way in. I mean, you don't have to have seen 1 and 2 to even enjoy 3. We've had some great feedback from some of the families that have seen the movie for the very first time, and they're just off the charts, and they love it, and they're responding to it just as emotionally as those that have been there for 10 years. So in many ways, we're getting the best of both worlds.
Nel film sono presenti delle complesse scene d'azione che sono rese ancora più complicate dalla presenza dei draghi. Come sono state studiate per essere rese al massimo della credibilità?
Well, the action scenes are for us some of the most exciting moments to work on because it involves so much choreography, and we get to realize this grand ambition we have of telling a story in animation that feels every bit as visceral and powerful and epic as a live action film. So it's a great challenge that we give to ourselves of designing choreography with with dragons and fire and special effects and ships and all of our human characters kind of clashing and interacting and treating it quite seriously, treating it as though this was some live action 4-quadrant giant film that was intended to go out there and dazzle people. I think oftentimes in animation, action sequences are given kind of a goofy quality, something that's very sort of simplistic and silly. But we've never taken that approach with the Dragon films. We always try to straddle the line between live action and animation so that it kind of has a quality in its physics and in the sense of peril and consequence that make the whole world very credible.